everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn host, Jennifer. Today we're chilling, we're sipping some tea, we're talking about crochet stuff. Oh yes, that's so good. Alright, if you're curious about what I'm drinking, it's the same tea I was showing you in yesterday's video, except I went and got a little bit of this honey. This honey, I found at Big Lots, and I need to go find some more. It is the Italione Wildflower Premium Honey, all natural, premium quality, paleo-friendly, gluten-free. I paid $1 for this little tube, but I need to search the internet and see if I can find bigger containers, because that tea, the Wildflower and the Wild Forest, has so much flavor. It is such a flavorful honey, and it's just, the only ingredient is wildflower honey. And the other one is wild forest honey, unsuitable for children or infants under 12 months old. Oh, there's a website on here. evergreenusa.co. Product of Turkey. Go figure. Turkey yarn, turkey honey. Delicious honey, though. It is my favorite honey of all times that I've ever tried. Anyway, what I came on here to share you today is not about honey. It has nothing to do with honey or tea or any of that. I wanted to talk to you about right here. Okay, you guys may have noticed that looks a little different back there. It looks a lot different back there. And I know it's a little bit blurry because of the background is blurry right now. But I'm not going to fix that in camera settings, because I will show you, I will get out of the way and show you guys in a few minutes. And I also took footage on my camera so that I will probably roll that in somewhere in here too. I might put it as its own video clip. So I told you guys in yesterday's story when I was showing you the teas that I purchased, that I came in here and I had issues. I should probably bring Brunhilde in since we're talking about her. I was making this shawl, and I was having issues anyway, because my goals are, and have been for a while, is to kind of disassemble the rainbow shelf a little bit. The rainbow shelf is beautiful. I love having a rainbow behind me, but the problem is that yarn is sitting there getting dusty, and even some of it I pulled off and it smelled dank because it's been sitting on my shelf for years now. And a lot of it was from the thrift store, and there was a lot of Red Heart Super Saver on there. And I really had to have an honest conversation with myself. Why are you holding on to yarns you don't like? And it's okay if you like Super Saver. This is not about that at all. When I'm telling you my opinion of something, I'm never trying to sway you or make you feel the way that I do. I'm just simply expressing myself. And I know a lot of people get offended when I say I don't like Red Heart Super Saver, but I just don't, and that's okay. You guys probably don't like some of the yarns that I like, and that is okay too. So I wanted to kind of disassemble the rainbow, and so far I've only tackled three of the shelves, because that top shelf up here that is now variegated colors, that was the red shelf. And so I moved the red and orange together here. I combined the green and the yellow here, which the green and yellow were two separate shelves. I have not tackled the blue shelf, and I know you guys cannot see, but below that is a purple shelf. I have not touched the purple shelf either. I don't know that I'm going to right now, because I got rid of an entire shelf's worth of yarn between those three shelves right there. And it was hard. It was hard. And the reason I bring Brunhilde on is because she's the reason I tackled the cakes. The cakes here and this shelf and that shelf was all filled with cakes. This shelf that is currently empty, I have wanted that shelf cleared and emptied for a long time, because I want to put certain things on there to display or to be in my room with me. And I will talk about that in a few minutes. But I was also working on this, and this is another wake up to reality moment that I had. I keep grabbing, and I've talked about this very recently, mainly because of this shawl. I keep grabbing yarn that I don't like working with. Yarn that I either find ugly, because I don't like these colors. And if you do, again, I'm okay that you love these colors. You may love this shawl. I don't, and I won't ever wear that. That is not colors that I wear on my body. Underneath it is the knit shawl I made. I will wear this, but I'm not a browns kind of girl, and I definitely am not a mustard kind of girl, and I don't like this pumpkin-y color. The yellow, the lightest yellow is beautiful to me, but this is Premier Yarns Sweet Rolls. I think that colorway is butterscotch, but I could be wrong because I don't keep my labels. So while I was making that, I decided to make it because one of those cakes was at the front of the row, because these shelves were 4 cakes deep. So you may have seen 25, 30 cakes on the front, but it was 4 layers of those cakes. So like 100 cakes per shelf. I'm estimating. I did not count. This tea is delicious. The blood orange, it's so good. And it's helping me because I'm feeling really congested. So I grabbed this cake because it was ugly. I didn't like it. I wanted it out of my life. I wanted to make something so I could get it out of my life. And I'm thinking, why am I using yarn I don't like? Why am I not reaching for these? All of those. Those are all beautiful. They're gorgeous. I want to work with them, and I am holding on to them and grabbing the yarn I don't like first. Why am I doing this? Why? Why, Brunhilde? I don't know. So I've had a lot of, come to reality moments, come to Jesus moments, if you will. Depends on what you believe or where you live and how you say that. So I went to go reach for the second cake because I knew I had 3 of these cakes, and that entire shelf kind of collapsed on top of me. Just a good 25, 30 cakes just fell on my face. And so I'm like, well, we're going to clean that too. We might as well, we're here. So I just started pulling yarn off. 2 days later, I have 2 giant black garbage bags filled with yarn and a box filled with yarn. The box is my scraps though, because I went through my scraps too. And a plastic bin, like those plastic tubs that you buy to store stuff in, filled with yarn to donate, hopefully to the college. I haven't contacted that lady yet, but I'm still waiting. I probably should do that today and see if they even want the donations, but if they do, they will be off to college next weekend with me. So, that's where we are with that. Why did I want this shelf clear, you may ask? Well, that's a good question. Thanks for asking. I want to display stuff, and I have 2 blankets here that I'm going to show you specifically. But right now, and I know you can't really see because it's blur, let's slide back this way. Let's see if we can get me off camera and see if it'll focus. Okay, so right now, back here, there is a couple of handmade gifts that are in there. A couple of amigurumi that are in there. Stuffed animal or 2. And 2 blankets that I worked on. Okay? Now, I never said this was a professional production. We're just moving. We're just doing stuff. I want to have blankets specifically that I have made in there. I have the baby blanket from the baby blankie yarn from Mary Maxim that I just made. It was corner to corner. I showed that in another video. And I have my most recent tutorial blanket, which is the Harvest Moon blanket, which is stacked on there right here. It's behind Stitch and an amigurumi, but underneath a watermelon. Now, I brought 2 blankets down out of my closet that are going to go on the shelf. This is the first one. This is I want to say 25 years old. This was crocheted by my mom for my godson. My godson is in his 20s. He's married. He has kids now. So, my aunt gave this to me when I was pregnant with little man because she thought that I needed something for my baby from my mom, something that my mom made, and this was before I learned to crochet. I mean, I knew how to crochet as a child, but I never made anything because I told you guys the story about that. My mom was very critical, and she just, it had to be perfect or she would rip out all of your work no matter how long you sat and worked on it. So I didn't even try to crochet until years and years later. So my mom made this for my godson before they knew the gender because she was in a rush. And then she later on made him a blue blanket when she found out that he was a boy. And my aunt still had both blankets. And she asked my godson first. And he didn't care if she gave this away. Because he was never really close to my mom. But my mom made this blanket. Like I told you guys in a previous video, my mom put fringe on everything. Every baby blanket, hat, like it had fringe or a tassel. She loved, and I don't like fringe because it gets all sticky. It sticks to itself on the end. I just don't like fringe, but I don't remember my mom making this blanket. I don't remember ever seeing this blanket. And it's just absolutely beautiful. But it's been in my closet, and I don't think little man even has ever used this. But I was so touched when my aunt gave this to me because when he came around, story time, this is probably going to get a little personal. I might get choked up. My mom died in 2009 or 2010. I can't remember. It's like all a blur to me now because it was so long ago. I think it was 2010. My mom died. It was very unexpected. It was very sudden. And 3 or 4 months later, I found out I was pregnant. And I have had infertility issues for my entire life. I've had issues. I was riddled with tumors for years, and we'll get back to that in a minute. My mom knew that I struggled with infertility, and when she died and I got pregnant, I thought she went up there and pestered God so bad he gave me a baby. And then I miscarried. This was not my first miscarriage. So within a couple month period, I lost a child and my mother. Years down the road, it was my almost 9th year of infertility. No, it was my 8th year of infertility because Juju was 8 when I got pregnant. And those tumors finally did damage. They twisted my ovary. My ovary actually died. And I had to have all of my one side of my ovary and tubes taken out, and the other side, like, they left a sliver of my ovary, and they told me to go home and expect menopause. So this was 2013. So my mom, it was a couple years after my mom died. The very first time Mr. Cinnamon and I were able to be intimate again as a husband and wife, after my surgery, one and done, I was pregnant. And that was little man. Which is why I say he's my miracle. Even with all his issues he has, he's a miracle. And even on his nursery, I had a Cricut cutout thing that said, it was a Bible verse that said, "You prayed for this child and God has granted you what you have asked of him." And that was on my wall. And he didn't sleep for 5 years. He was in that newborn, awake all night long phase for 5 years. So I didn't sleep for 5 years. And it was the hardest time of my life. And I would just stare up at that on the wall. Because I prayed for this. And I prayed for 9 years. So getting a blanket my mom made for little man before I could crochet. This is a very, very meaningful gift. Why is it hidden in my closet? So it's going to go on my shelf because so many reasons, but like my mom ultimately is the reason I never learned to crochet, but at the same time, she's the reason that I do crochet because she's the one that put the spark of crochet into my life when I was a little kid. And I've always been fascinated. I always wanted to do it. But it took Lilo N Stitches teaching me how to do it right. So, this is going to go on that shelf. And I told you guys I was going to get choked up. This blanket, on the other hand, is also in my closet. There's a lot of mistakes in this blanket. I'm going to have to back up to show you. And I will talk about the mistakes. But this is my favorite thing probably that I have ever made. I need to feed the birds. They're out there on the bird feeder and there's nothing in them. It is probably my favorite thing I have ever made, ever. This was my first, well, it wasn't my first blanket. My first blanket was a king-size chevron blanket. It was my first finished object of crochet ever that was done the correct way. I will say that. I still have that, but it has been used a lot, and it has been washed a lot, and it is very floppy, and is not pretty anymore. And it's a king-size blanket, so it will take up that whole shelf. So it's going to stay in my closet. Well, it also gets used, so closet, bed, closet, bed. This is I believe the next blanket I made after that. I've made a lot of blankets, but this is the next one I made for myself. And this was based off of a Jujus N Stitches tutorial. She showed you how to do the African violet flower, and it is a hexagon. Now the mistakes that are in this is I didn't have a lot of hooks. I didn't have a lot of yarn. I had like the yarn to do the project, and I had like maybe 3 hooks. And I kept them all together all at one time. And so when I started the hexagons, I would put them in the box with the yarn. Well, that box also contained my hooks. So at one point I was like, well, did I use 5.5 millimeter? Did I use a 6 millimeter? What hook did I use? So I thought I used a 7 millimeter. So I grabbed that, but really it was not. So let's see if I can find you some of the hexies are way bigger than the other ones, and it goes randomly throughout the blanket. So putting this together was a whole fiasco because some of them were big, some were small, and they just didn't line up, so I had stretched and pulled. And then I kind of blocked it in the fact that I washed it in the washing machine like several times to get it to stretch itself out. And it did. And this yarn, I believe, is all AC Moore yarn when AC Moore was first around. But this blanket is gorgeous. And it's supposed to be personal size, but it's way longer than it is. Like, it's longer head to toe than it is wide. So it is an odd shape. So it doesn't really fit on a twin size bed because I didn't really know what I was doing. The tutorial for Jada was just for the African flowers. And I didn't know what I was doing at all. I didn't know what size the blanket was supposed to be. So it's very narrow. Like, it goes over me just fine on the couch, but it would not fit over a twin size bed at all. And it's super long. It's long enough to be, yeah, it's over 6 feet. It's way over 6 feet. But isn't this pretty? And because of its odd shape, and because it was so much work, and because I messed up so much, I don't use this a whole lot, so it just stays in my closet. And I'm like, this is too pretty to be in the closet. It is going on that shelf. If nothing else goes on that shelf other than these 4 blankets, I will have called it a successful day. However, we know that I'm constantly working on stuff. I could also probably put my other hexagon blanket up there. The cotton one I made for myself, which is in a different closet. And I had to figure out how to do the half hexies, the half flower hexies, which is different than the half hexies. And then I put a really pretty border on it. I'm just proud of this blanket. It doesn't make sense that I'm hiding it in my upstairs closet. And the upstairs closet has like a weird smell to it. You know, it's like, it reminds me of my attic when I was growing up, like my childhood attic. And maybe because it does open up to the attic. I don't know. But the smell is just, it's a weird wood smell. Not cedar. I don't like the smell of cedar either though. But it has like that, I don't know how to describe it. I just don't like the way it smells. And so I'm like, why is my crochet stuff up there in that smelly closet? Like even my clothes, when my clothes are in there too long, I have to wash them because I won't wear them when they smell funky. So we're going to put those on that shelf. And I got myself all winded because I'm folding a heavy blanket. Time to switch cups. I got 3 cups of tea here from the taste test yesterday. But I added honey to all of them to see if I liked them better, which I do always. The pineapple one is still really weak. But whatever. So that's what I've been doing. I've been busting my butt in this room. Oh, we also made another video on our Lilo N Stitches channel. It has a giveaway in it. I don't know if I told you guys that already. I can't reach it. I have a Lilo N Stitch pin that is about 2.5 inches. And it is Stitch dressed up like Snow White themed Stitch. We're doing a giveaway on our channel, so if you could just go over there and like watch that video and enter, that would be awesome. We're also really close to being able to monetize that, which means we get paid for the commercials and the ads that YouTube automatically puts up there, which would be super awesome. Also, I think that will help Mr. Cinnamon to want to make more videos over there, because I told him Lilo N Stitches is his channel, Cinnamon Stitches is mine, and he just does not put as much effort into his channel as I do. Because I'm like the queen podcaster, right? He also has a day job completely separated from all of this. So I told him, I was like, come on, we're almost there. We're almost there. We have enough subscribers. We just need a little bit more watch time. But what's funny is our channel over there it's going to be travel stuff. So I want to do more travel videos, and we have some travel planned for basically all of this next year. We have a big trip coming in December to Florida with baby Paprika and her family. And then we also are planning a really big trip next summer and possibly one for spring break, but I don't know. I have to check on that and see still. But yeah, so there's going to be a lot of fun content coming up over there. And I also want to share videos that I took at the Georgia Aquarium. But it's just a matter of getting him to take time and sit down and record with me while we talk. And at the same time, like all the other honeydew things that he puts on himself. Because I don't ask him to cut the grass. I don't nag him to cut the bushes that need to be trimmed. You know, I don't ask him to do any of that. I let him figure out. That's his job. Like, let him do it. But then, like, this weekend was so busy. I'm surprised he was able to sit down and make that one video of us going to King's Dominion, which was so much fun. I was surprised I got him to sit down for that, because I had to cut his and Little Man's hair, which Little Man does not like his hair being cut or touched. He just freaks out. He has like this whole meltdown, and so I have to like fight him to get his hair cut. So that's stressful on me. But I got both their haircuts, and then like the decorating Halloween outside, and then running errands and grocery shopping. Like this weekend was just, I'm exhausted. Next weekend's not going to be any better because it's family week at the college, and Pumpkin Spice wants us to come visit her. And there's like a whole, like, they're having like a crab dinner thing, which I'm scared to eat there because gluten. But yeah, all right. I think I have talked enough. I just really wanted to show you that and show you these really cool blankets that are very special to me. I do have another blanket my mom made, but it is a blanket that my mom made me when I was a teenager, and it is a full twin size blanket, and I gave it to Juju a long time ago, and I have no idea what she did with it. It's somewhere in her teenager room, which you guys can imagine what that looks like. So there's currently bead stuff. She has the rolling carts with bead stuff and mailing stuff. Like, she's got her whole station set up. So there's those in there, and then she just has like just stuff. Just stuff. Teenagers, you know. So, alright guys, I'm gonna let you go out. We'll see you in the next one, and thank you for joining me. Bye.